Okay, so this is a guide on how to perform Fami Skip. This is probably one of the hardest tricks in the game that's RTA viable. So if you are unable to get this, don't worry about it. There are plenty of other tricks in this level that I will be going through in the main tutorial of this level. If you haven't seen the main tutorial of this level, then go check that out before you come here, because we will be starting from midway through the level. So yes. Let's get on with the Fami Skip tutorial, I guess. Okay, so this is what a Fami Skip would look like. We're going to start from here because I don't feel like I need to show off the whole start of Sand 2. Because that is in the main tutorial for this level. So yeah, we need a giant egg so we can do a trick like this. If you get a lot of air, you can easily land on the torch. If you don't get much air, you kind of need to hope that your angle is straight. And you want to land on that blue diamond. Become familiar with that blue diamond, get snug in there, and then into the portal you go. And that's Fami Skip. So now I'll teach you actually how to do it. So this is where it's going to get a bit tricky. Okay, so for the first part, if you have a giant egg like I do right now, what you want to do is a trick known as an egg bounce boost off an egg. So what we do first of all is, there's a few different ways to do this, but this is definitely the best way. And this is to go straight to torch. This is because once you can do it up against this wall and get on top of the wall, it's a lot trickier to get. Mainly because that will actually add a bit of an obstacle. So you need to kind of like get familiar with the tiles on the ground here, because this is how we do a lot of the references. So I like to put my egg here, right here. And the way that we can tell that this is the right spot is if the right of the shadow of the egg is next to or slightly to the left of this line going down here that looks like a sort of a T shape if you were to put the camera like that, but the egg's actually in the way. It's also very close to this pink egg. There's also this like dark triangle down here that I like to make sure some of the shadow is actually touching, like it is here. Actually, I think I might be a bit too far back, like so. Then you then want to bring your pink egg and bring it to this dark triangle that it's standing on right now. A good reference as well is to make sure there's a dot, like, to sort of upright from it. Once you've got all your stuff positioned, you just want to egg bounce on the spot, and then as you egg bounce down for the final time, you want to hold towards the egg and make sure you land directly through the center of the egg as you head towards it after the bounce, like so. You should then get a big bounce up, and then once you're over this side of the torch, bounce. If you, for some reason, have to go to the other to side of the torch to the right of me, then that's fine. Just make your way around. Get to this side of the torch. The camera likes to be a bit awkward here. That's fine. Just turn the camera and get on the statue, like so. So now we have a rather tricky jump. We need to get from here over to that side of the wall. But it's a bit more complicated than that. We need to force the bee to inflate, which is a little bit weird champ, to say the least. So for getting across the jump, this jump is still actually very tight. If you go too sharp, you just bounce off the wall. And if you go too straight, you can you can make it over, but you might not be able to roll onto the spot that we need to roll onto. So I guess what I would suggest is I like to sort of jump sort of at, it's hard to explain. Okay, so I'm holding the control stick in that angle. If that angle is the notch, the upright notch, and that's the up notch, it needs to be between there. So you need to jump at that angle from this dash that Billy is standing on right here. That gives you a good angle to get across. If you go from the corner, you can still make it, but I feel like the angle's too sharp, and this way it's actually a lot easier. That's what I find. And the jump should look something like this. Okay, once you make it over the wall, I like to hold right on the camera to make the camera turn so we can face the next jump. And it's kind of hard to see. I probably have like a little image that I can add very quickly. I should have thought about this before, but I actually didn't. Let me just add a quick arrow to the screen. I'll explain where we're going to land. Okay, so this arrow is a 2-pointer by mistake. ingenious, Kai. I'm a genius. So you'll see there's a blue diamond right there. We're going to land on that blue diamond. And the reason why we're going to land on that blue diamond is something that I'll explain in a minute. You just want to make sure you're landing on the blue diamond, specifically on that line in the middle. That line in the middle is super helpful. I'll show it off in a bit more detail. So you're going to land here. And that's how you do the jump across the gap. Okay, for the sake of explaining what you need to do next, I have actually killed the bee. This is because I'm just going to explain the next jump, and then I'll explain how the bee works after that. So once you're in this position, you then want to come across like this and do a nice straight dash jump across this gap. This jump is very tight, you do not want to jump at an angle whatsoever, and you don't want to curve at all. This bee's going to be a problem for me, so we're going to take him out as well. This is when we discover that killing the bee actually opens the underground. Okay, nothing happens when you kill the bee. So yeah, again, we turn the camera during this jump so we actually get a nice camera angle. Because sometimes you have a camera like this, and then sway out the camera like that, it just ruins everything. So having a camera angle like this is great. And yeah, you want to jump off the edge, and you want to jump straight. That's basically how you get across this gap. From this point, you then have to hope that the bee inflated late, so that then you can get set up with the KBC. And that is what we're going to explain next, is how to make the bee inflate late. And it has something to do with that diamond we landed on. I'll show off basically everything you need to know from this point on. Okay, so we are back here. And I'm basically going to show off what you don't want to do when actually getting the bee to slip you through the wall. So we're going to jump across the gap like so, and then say we're going to get up here. And as you can see, like, the bee's already in the quicksand. He is... Basically, there would be no way for us to quickly get into the gap where we need to clip before the bee's actually, you know, in time for the bee to hit us. And the reason why that is how bee inflation works. See, as you see, the bee turns around and faces you before it inflates. And that is because the angle where we were was very close to the bee. And essentially, these bees are going to get in the way. Essentially, the bee turns around, faces you, then inflates. And usually if we're too close to the bee, it notices us quicker. But for some reason, if we land on a blue diamond or anywhere really near this area, usually landing here is fine, or landing there is fine. These bees are going to be a problem for me. Essentially, you need to land on this blue diamond, and then do the movement that I showed off to do the dash jump to get across that gap. Because it makes the bee notice you way later than normal. Once the bee has, you know, decided it's going to inflate, it will face you, then inflate. If you're already moving, it takes ages for it to actually notice you. So, essentially, the reason why we land on that is to make the bee notice you way later. Like you could see in the example. So make sure you land that blue diamond and you do the dash jump in the previous example, and that will make the bee inflate late and not early. Because an early inflate means you won't be able to do the clip. So yeah, if you land on the diamond, it should look something like this. Okay, and now once you're over here, the late inflate should be set up. From this point, when we get out of our recovery frames, we're going to U-turn and then jump into, let me get my arrow again. I can't rotate the arrow. This crack right here. And the reason why we're going to jump into that crack is because, unfortunately for NTSC, that's the only place where we can clip and land in the room. If you're on power, you can actually clip through anywhere on this wall and make it in, because aerial drift mechanics are overpowered. So, let's hope we actually get this in this take. Okay, so I clipped through there. I don't really have any advice for it. Actually, I have some advice, but it's hard to explain whilst the bees there. So I might just clear the bees and then explain that. But that's essentially how you do the Fami Skip. You then just walk into this portal and GG. Okay, so let's talk about the clip. You really don't have any time to set this up, which makes this trick very difficult. But essentially, you know, you want to get into this crack here and for the bee to clip you through. Now, a lot of people don't do one thing which makes this trick really like fail for them, and it's what I like to say is if they fail it, it's usually because they're not snug. And I'll try and show off what I mean by snug very quickly, and then I'll show off what isn't snug. So when I say snug, I mean like you're in this clip like so. Like as you can see, like Billy's really in that corner. That's what I call snug. Okay, so something that isn't snug would look something like this. Like that, where you definitely, for one, not in the corner, and two, not tight in there. You need to be very tight in that corner. I'm just going to show off being snug one more time. We'll do it in this one take, because I am sick at ESBs. Everyone gather around and look how sick ESB Kai's is. Oh, look at that. Legend. I'm glad I got that. Oh, that would have been embarrassing. As you can see, that's how we land on diamond again. But yeah, looking snug would look something like that, where Billy is hardly visible in the crack. If you're not snug, basically the bee will hit you and you just won't clip through. So make sure that when the bee hits you, you're nice and snug in that corner. Snug is a very important word for Fami Skip. Okay, so if you are to die during Fami Skip, then there are backups to do it again. But unfortunately you won't have a giant egg, so you can't do the ESB Strat or the egg boost bounce. So I'd recommend just coming over here like so. If the pillar's not destroyed here, I'd recommend turning around and destroying it. Unfortunately it has been destroyed already in this session, so I can't shut it off. But you want to do an egg shoot bounce here. What I like to do is I like to leapfrog over this pink egg, turn around, shoot the egg out, go around to the back of the blue egg, and then bounce with a little bit of a delay, like so. And then roll up if you need to. If you have a good enough bounce, you don't need to roll. Make sure you roll on this way so it's safer. And then once you're up there, just dash jump across that side. But before I do that, I'm just going to show off some other ways you can do it. You can then push an egg over here, destroy this pillar, and do it in this corner as well. This is a lot safer, but it is a lot slower at the same time. Also, egg shoot bounces are hard. I also should have stated that one in advance. So this may also take you a few attempts. Like it's going to give me a few attempts. I always find the one in the corner really difficult for some reason. Yeah, but as you see, if I'm failing it, we're not losing an egg. And yeah, it should look like that, essentially. Egg shoot bounces are hard, but that's it. That's the other backup strat you have. So yeah, then you can dash jump across here. Like so. And now you're back here. And everything else should be the same. Okay, so if you want to do something really optimal, and I'm really bad at this, so this is probably going to take a million takes, you can do a really good egg shoot bounce, over this way. Make sure you don't hit the switch with this egg shoot bounce like I just did in the previous one. And you can make it all the way to the torch like so. And I'm actually amazed that I only took the second attempt because that was beautiful. Holy cow. Okay, and one other thing to talk about with another strat to get over the torch is the Shadow Knight EDR. This strat sucks ass, sorry Shadow, but I'm being honest with you. I like to hit the thing like this, and then I like to dash jump down that line. You see I as I approached the egg, there was a black line I went through, and then I dashed through the black line again, and it got me a nice jump like that, and that's the Shadow Knight EDR. Hey guys, this is post-editing Kai again. And I'm just going to put this last little note in at the end of the video. Just saying that Fami Skip, yeah, it's really difficult. This video is not going to get you to get it first try. There's a lot of factors that go into this trick and it takes a lot of time to learn. It took me a long time to get this and it really deterred me from the game for a long time, but when I finally got it, it all just made sense. It's like a puzzle. You've just learned the pieces, which this video is essentially giving you. It's giving you all the pieces like where to land, how to jump, how to be snug. And then eventually you just put the pieces together and then it just works. And then once you understand those pieces are put together, it just becomes really easy. So yeah, that's my advice for you. Just keep learning it. You'll start to understand how it works and then you'll just start to get it really consistent. So yeah, cool. And then now we'll just get on to the last point, which also contains the conclusion because I didn't do those in separate takes. Yay. So I have just performed the clip. I have not pressed any inputs since, and as you can see, the camera is god awful, and you can't see the portal. So what I suggest you do is you move to the right, and then move up right. So the camera will do something like that. You'll walk into the portal, or if you don't walk into the portal, at least essentially you'll be next to the portal, and the camera will correct itself, so you can actually just then walk in. That's everything you need to know about Fami Skip. Let's play out the beginning of Dark Corvo whilst I get hit, and I do my outro. So I've been Kyrone. Follow me on twitch.tv/Kyrone for more Billy Hatch content. Join the Discord if you haven't already. The link is in the description. I've also linked the leaderboards in case that link doesn't work. And here comes Eric Gecko. He's going to slice my ass. Ah, yes. Nice. Ow. Ow. Stop it. Okay. Yeah, so see you guys.